I remember on my first punt return, though, Marshawn was like, you see what Ricardo Lockett does to people? That's what might happen to you. I was like, whoa.
Wait,
And then,
because of the way that Ricardo Lockett used to crush people.
Yeah, he was like, hey, man, like, you ready for that? I was like, bro, I'll be all right. And then I ran it back. When I ran back the kickoff returns and then the punt return and in the preseason, he was like, oh, you might actually be pretty good at this. I hope so.
Was he trying to intimidate you?
I think he was just trying to see what type of player I was.
What type of teammate was he? Like, where does Marshawn rank in terms of funniest teammates you've ever had?
Definitely top 3 people I know.
Who else is on that list?
I think Nick Ballore was pretty funny.
Oh, yeah.
Nick Ballore was definitely up there.
Does Mike B make the list?
Mike B would be top 5. It would be top 5. Some people put me in the top 3. But it's not that I try to be funny. I just do funny things. Like.
Yeah. You're now on my top 3 for that one.
So they put me on there on the top 5. They had a school, it was called Nathan Hale.
Yep.
And it was for cooking.
Oh.
Back in Oklahoma. So I think if I would have went to culinary school.
That probably wasn't even on your radar.
No, I was trying to go play sports.
Did you have a backup plan for football?
I wanted to be like a lawyer or a detective, more a detective. I didn't want to be a lawyer as much because I felt like if my client lost, they would come after me. Because I watched too many TV shows. And so I was like, I'd rather be a detective because I'm really good at figuring things out. But at the same time, I didn't want to get, what's the word I'm looking for? If I knew this person killed them and then they tried to like tell me like, hey, if you do this, I'm gonna.
Right. You didn't want to be like involved in bribes. You didn't want to be involved in like.
But Sergio from CSI Miami, that's who I used to pay attention to.
And when did your idea of becoming a detective completely go out the window?
Probably when I would see how some of those people who were criminals at the time would do whatever to try to like stay alive. So like if they be like, they might shoot at Sergio or they might, I didn't need to be a part of shootouts.
No, I don't think anybody needs
Any shoot-offs to be a part of was when Pete would yell shoot off and we had to challenge each other in basketball.
Okay.
That's the only shoot-offs I wanted to be a part of.
That's fair. Okay, so that dream died and you just decided to focus on football.
Yep.
Which is great.
It works out. It worked out.
It worked out pretty well. When you set your football goals, is it harder to do when you have a dad who was a standout ahead of you? Because you break his records at K-State and then you go on and you play longer than he did in the league. Like,
Yes.
Is it harder to do that or is it easier to find motivation?
I think it's both. Sometimes I think the goals are hard because I got to depend on so many people to do things at receiver. So you really don't know what type of season you're going to have. And like you kind of learn too, like it all depends on who they decide to feature. So like if you end up getting featured the most, then you can probably get a lot of the stuff and more than you want. But if you're not featured as much, then it sucks because then you're probably not going to get what you were looking for. But then you also can't just prepare just to achieve those goals. Because then if you don't get them, then that's whenever you see so many people check out.
Yeah.
And you can't check out because this is your job.
So, but you know what? We talk about that in football. You're right. Everything has to go right for you to have a great season. The work you put in is only part of it.
Yes.
I don't think it's that much different for people in business. It's not that much different in real estate. There's a lot of stuff that has to go right for you.
Yeah.
It's different.
It's different. The only thing that makes it way different than those is the fact that you get fired for doing nothing. Like, imagine going to your job and you get fired and you're like, what did I do? And it was like, we just want to see what this person does. You're like, okay, so can I come back next week? And they're like, no. So, I mean, that's the only difference.
You're right.
It's like, or imagine they're like, we're going to let you go. And you're like, why? And you're like, because you cook too good. Like, what do you mean? Don't you want somebody who could cook good? Yeah, but you're worth too much. So we're gonna get somebody else.
Right. that is potentially really hard to deal with mentally.
Yeah. But it's a good problem to have. If you got let go for being a really, really great cook, somebody's gonna pay you to come in because they want somebody like you who's a top-notch chef.
To be fair, I'm not a top-notch chef, but yes. But it doesn't take away the sting.
Oh, that's the hard part. It doesn't take away the sting, but that's when they try to tell you it's a business, so you gotta get, you can't deal with it emotionally and stuff like that. But that's what makes all of this stuff tough, is because if you're good enough, you should always be at the job, because they should always want to hire the top of the notch people. Like, we're out here with what? Like all the people like Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and so they want the best of the best at their headquarters. But sometimes, based off of teams, you got to pick and choose how you want to structure your team. Do you want the best of the best, or do you want a bunch of middle guys when it comes to the pay? It might not be middle guys in the play. It's just you get the middle pots when it comes to the pay, and you know that the play is going to outweigh the pay. It's a lot of secrecy that goes on when I'm in the kitchen.
Okay. Is that because you're actually just using a jarred can of spaghetti sauce?
Nope, it's because the ingredients that are in there might not be as healthy as you think. But it's gonna taste really, really good.
Okay, give me one example, because I can't picture this. Give me one example of what that means.
Have you ever tasted lemonade for the first time?
Yes.
And what was that experience like?
It was so good, and it was very sweet.
And that's gonna make you want to go get more and more and more and more. That's what my spaghetti is like.
Are you saying that there's lemonade in your spaghetti?
No, I'm just saying that.
I'm just checking. I have no idea what the secret is.
It's like Kool-Aid. It's gonna make you want to come back for more.
Why aren't we making that today on the show?
I mean,
that's a miss.
I don't know if something healthy goes with Kool-Aid.
Doesn't it balance it out so you play for the tie? I mean, that's like me going for a run and then eating a donut, you know?
I'll probably get an Arnold Palmer. Why is it named Arnold Palmer?
Because that's what he enjoyed drinking.
So he gets a drink named after him?
Is that what you're really hoping for in your career, is to have a drink named after you? It's that.
Or maybe the end zone.
But what would be in the end zone? You don't drink. What would you put in that? Is it just Kool-Aid? It's the sweetness of Kool-Aid, isn't it? It's like grape Kool-Aid.
No, I'm talking about the Seahawks end zone. They should put Lockett's end zone.
Oh, a petition to make, but only the very corner and with your toes, like right on the edge. It's just like cleats right on the edge.
Yeah, but I don't think Lockett's end zone sounds right.
No E zone?
That sounds amazing. No E.
No E zone.
But I don't think a lot of people know why it was called No E.
Why were you called No E? I know why.
Because Ricardo had an E at the end of Lockett,
yes,
and I didn't have one, so they said No E. But some people think it's Noey.
Right. It's not.
Yeah. But that would have to happen when I retire.
We're not
the
talking
end zone
about
stuff,
it.
the No E zone.
God, that would be so cool. Again, just like a mark of your cleats right there.
Yeah.
It's the best. Tyler Lockett is known for being a top-level elite wide receiver in the NFL. We were having the conversation about how you set goals and how you think about your career and the milestones and all of that. What do you know to be true about being a great teammate that might not have been evident when you started your career?
I think being a great teammate is kind of equivalent to what you're able to do off the field, outside of football. So, like, being able to hang out with them really builds chemistry on the team, and also being able to play the video game with them also builds chemistry, because when you play team-like games such as NCAA or Call of Duty, you have to learn how to be in sync with one another. And I think that's pretty cool, because in receivers, you have 2 or 3 on the field mostly at all times, and so you have to all be in sync with how you guys run routes in order to get other people open.
There are some people who would think that after spending all day with the people you work with, the last thing you would want to do is hang out with them outside of work.
Not when they're your friends. Like, I mean, when they're your friends, then it's different. If they're just, your what do they call it? Like these are just it starts with an A. I don't know.
I would say colleagues or coworkers.
Okay, you can say that. These are just my coworkers. Well, that doesn't sound pretty fun. Like, like these are guys that are your age that you hang out with, that you get to know, you spend half the year with all the time. So to me, it's like, man, these are your friends. Like these people came to my wedding.
Yeah.
What coworkers do you bring to your wedding?
It's true. I love my coworkers, but yeah.
But that's what makes the job fun, is when you go there and you have people that you enjoy being able to play with and stuff like that. So being able to hang out with them off the field too. I mean, yeah, you got to pick and choose, because if you got a wife and kids at home or dogs at home, you kind of got to balance the stuff out. But just being able to spend time with them, even when you're going to take trips to away games, it changes everything.
Yeah, it does. Has there ever been a wide receiver that you didn't get along with that just took like an enormous amount of effort to build that relationship?
To build it? No, not really. I mean, I think I kind of like make it easy because I joke around a lot. So some people probably say I wasn't serious, or I was too playful or too fun. But I feel like you kind of got to do that, because some people might be overly serious, and that can kind of kill the vibe for a lot of people. But for the most part, I try to just meet everybody where they're at. So I don't think you can really go wrong when it comes to doing that, because like if somebody's quiet, then you kind of learn how to like dance around being a little quiet and soft spoken when you talk to them. If somebody's loud, then you can be a little bit more loud when you're just with them by yourself.
Was that something you always knew innately, or did somebody teach you how to do that?
I don't know. I think I kind of just learned that as I was learning about the Bible and stuff. It was like Jesus always kind of met people where they were at. And, it's like when he hung out with sinners, it wasn't like they were like, whoa, like, what are you trying to say about us? It was like they felt, it was different than hanging out with somebody that made them feel bad about themselves all the time. So I just kind of wanted to take an approach like that. And I feel like it's cool and it works, because then you don't make people feel bad about what they do. But sometimes when you are the light around them, it'll make them want to change what they do if they don't feel it works for them anymore.
With that in mind, how do you approach mentorship? Because we talk about it a lot on the business side of things, but in football, to me, and I tell people this all the time, if you are not good as a mentor, your team isn't going to succeed, because everybody has to be up to speed. Yeah,
I think that's the hardest part of being able to build a team, because when you come to the NFL, and obviously college now is different with money involved, but at first these were all the people who you finally make money from being able to play this game for free. And so a lot of times people play for different reasons. And some people just want money, some people want the lifestyle or the girls or whatever comes with it. And so it's hard to build a team when that's all that they care about. So sometimes you got to say, hey man, like, you want the lifestyle, you got to come out here and practice and put in the work so you can keep that lifestyle. Or hey man, you want the girls, but the girls ain't gonna want you if you're doing bad on Sunday. Like, it's like,
when you break it down at that level, right, everybody, needs a high performer. Yep.
But it's just hard to like get people to buy in and do the same thing if they don't care as much as other people. Like, some people play football and after they make it to the league, they want to stay, they want to do whatever it takes to be great. Other people are like, all right, I did it. And now it's like you don't really care as much because you're so caught up in the glitzes and the glamours. And so you're trying to build a team, but it's like, how do you build a team, especially with this new era of kids coming in who don't know what it's like to not play? So it's like, if I don't play, I'm leaving. I'm entering the portal. And now you got kids who are about to start coming to the NFL, and you can't get out of a 4-year contract. Like, you can't get out of a 5-year contract. And so it's like, how is that going to change the way the NFL is played? Is a bunch of people going to just say, hey, trade me, release me? Well, you're never going to get released after your first year or second year and you're in your rookie contract and you're a top pick. But that's what you're going to start seeing because there's no more loyalty.
Yeah. That is going to be a really interesting thing to watch.
Yeah, it's going to be way different. Like, what do you do as a GM? Like, do you just try to trade people away. Maybe if you get picks, you do it. But why would
You can't trade everybody.
Yeah, you can't trade a second pick for a 6th-round pick after they played for a year. That looks bad.
Yeah.
You know, so, but that's what's starting to happen is there's no loyalty in college football anymore. And you see people getting upset and people getting mad because it's like, man, kids can just leave and do whatever they want. And yeah, there's some kids that get stuck in the portal and they never sign again. But to a lot of people that it's worked out for, you come here and now it's like, all right, like, why are these people in front of me? Why can't I play? Well, you got to wait your turn. What do you mean wait my turn? I want to be a free agent. You can't be a free agent. We just paid you all this money.
Yeah. Yeah, there are some logistical and business things on that one. Do you remember the first time somebody recognized you? Like as a wide receiver? Like, do you remember the first time somebody come up, recognized you, asked you for an autograph or a picture?
Yeah, I think it was more so probably maybe my first year. I went to the mall in Tukwila, South Center, and it was during Christmas, and I made a mistake of trying to do my Christmas shopping on the 22nd or 23rd, and it was Santa all out there, and it was just so many people.
That's a bad strategy most of the time. Yeah.
And they were like, Tyler Lockett, can I take a picture? I'm like, no. Because as soon as I take a picture with you, there's so many people that's out here right now that's going to notice me, and I'm going to be the one that's going to be on the other side of Santa taking all these pictures. I'm not trying to do that today.
You're not Tyler Santa that day. How does your study habits from football translate to what you're currently doing in business?
I think it helps because you learn structure. You learn how to be like really precise at what it is that you set out to do. You also learn like time management. You learn how to be committed. Like just some of those different type of things. Like obviously like when you're trying to work and help people buy a house, like you really are on their time. And so like you learn how to be more of an agent as far as like my agent in football, because you got to wait until they're ready. But, you know, when it comes to other things too, like I just got I just passed to get my license for mortgaging. So now I got to take the test.
So is it easier to study for something like that than it is to study for like having a new game plan every single week that you have to study?
The game plan is easy because you mostly know 90% of the plays already. It's just different formations or different tasks that they ask you to do. Studying some of this stuff, it just depends on if it's something that you enjoy doing. Like mortgaging, it takes me a little bit more to figure out. The real estate part was easy, but like when you got to do all the loans and figure out like all the stuff about it, it makes it tough. But with what I want to do with it, it makes it fun because then I can start buying land and then I can make a commission from that. Then I can fund the loan to get the land and make another commission off of that.
You really do have this all figured out. You're a man with a plan.
It makes sense right now.
Are you good at putting together a grocery shopping list?
No, I go in there, I know what I want.
Oh.
Yeah, if my wife puts together a list, we're going to be in there for a while. Because she's going to see what she doesn't have on the list. And
then she's going to get,
When I go in there, I'm getting either Apple Jacks or Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I'm getting kombucha, the Kavita, ginger or turmeric. I'm getting probably the s'mores Pop-Tarts.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm getting V8, not the vegetables. I'm getting the V8 juice.
So you don't eat vegetables, but you would rather drink V8?
No, it's the V8 juice, like the.
Oh.
Yeah, the vitamin A and C, like that it be having on there. It tastes like they got the orange ones, the fruit.
It doesn't taste like vegetables at all?
No.
Yeah.
No. I tried that before.
So let me
Powerade.
Yeah. So let me just recap this. You are a 10-year vet in the NFL who does not eat vegetables and likes s'mores Pop-Tarts.
I eat vegetables.
Did I get that right?
No, so I eat healthy at the facility or when the chef cooks, but then on my off days, I eat whatever I want. So if I want a Pop-Tart, because I put in all this work in football, I'm going to give me a Pop-Tart.
Yeah.
Or ginger is good for you. Other than that, if I go to Costco, it's different. If I go to Costco, that's when I'm getting the bell peppers. That's when I'm getting the pasta. That's when we're getting the lasagna. We're getting
You
the
buy
meatloaf.
Costco-sized lasagna?
Yes. And I put it in there for 45 minutes, but on my timer, not with Alexa.
Clearly, because that didn't work well for me, folks.
I Cook, You Measure is presented by Safeway, who welcomes everyone at the table through the Nourishing Neighbors program. You can donate in stores or by visiting nourishingneighbors.com.